enjoy your boring life and appreciate the nuance in it. This was the first year that I really felt homesick around Thanksgiving. And I just hadn't felt those two emotions kind of coincide and coexist, but also go head to head at the same time. Oh, I wish I tried more drugs when I was younger. Glad that I went for myself. Is that selfish? Actually, quite literally tongue-tied. I've been thinking a lot about this creator that I came across. His name is Joel. I don't know how his last name is pronounced. It might be like Joel Roque, R-O-A-C. But anyways, it's Joel R-O-A-C on YouTube. And wind tunnel. He posted a video that I didn't even finish watching, but just the title captured me. And then I started watching other videos of his. But the title was Film Your Boring Life. And here I am 2 weeks later, still thinking about it and just the intro, because he's so right. I think so many people get bogged down of oh, I'm not interesting enough, or my life is boring. And it's even people whose lives seem exciting. One, it might not be that exciting. Two, they are possibly overcompensating for something. And if I'm being honest, I've definitely done that in the past. And three, people aren't showing the boring bits because they think people aren't interested, but they are. And even on that note, I ended up watching one of his videos, which I never thought that I'd be into a stream, but it was him editing a video for I just put on his editing live stream for an hour as I did my own work. And I'm sure some people might have thought that was boring, but it was calming and soothing. So anyways, I just really liked that advice of maybe not that you have to film your boring life, but enjoy your boring life and appreciate the nuance in it. And with having a really exciting, what seems like a crazy, spontaneous life, I think a lot of those people, and I've seen people discuss it, and you miss the boring, you miss the monotony of certain things. I know I definitely got that way, and that's why I could only be a true digital nomad of traveling around for, really I did it for about 6 months where I was constantly traveling. And then for me, I mean, maybe it's because I'm 33, but I was nah, I can't, I don't want to do this all the time. I want to have weekends that I don't know what I have planned. And granted, when you're traveling all the time, that's true too, but you kind of know where you're going. But I knew that I wanted days where I didn't do anything. And I wanted to opt and switch to a boring lifestyle because it's lovely. So I guess it's just striking that balance.
Monday, so that means that it is a Rusafa market and co-working space day, which honestly I think some people really dread Mondays, and I don't for some reason. I think because my Sunday nights end with a meeting, it ends with my Sydney clients meeting, so it's that's what I kind of dread the whole weekend. And then once that's out of the way and over with, then I already feel I've started my week in a sense. So Mondays just feel like the start of something fresh and new. But recently I was telling someone I actually think my favorite day of the week is Tuesday. And I kind of want to get out of this headspace. I think it's Tuesday because then I'm not so worried about what I need to get done during the week, because it's early in the week that I'm not stressed, because come Wednesday then I'm ooh, I haven't completed all my tasks. So Wednesday just ends up being stressful. Thursday ends up being kind of, I don't know what the heck happens on Thursdays. And then Friday is kind of a scramble, like, ooh, but also I don't care anymore, ooh. So I guess Thursday is the scramble, and Friday is the kind of, I did what I did, but then I'll like end up still getting it done somehow. That's enough for today. In and out in under, what, 3 minutes, 2 minutes? Quick 3-minute makeup routine. Nothing like it. I do have to say, time and time again, I always make the perfect sunny side up eggs. This toast might be a little over toasted, but I actually prefer it that way most of the times. And so today, it came out perfect. Your Safa Market is there every single day, and that's where they sell food and all the goodies that you would want. But then on Mondays, all the street vendors come and you can buy things for your house, clothes, shoes, tons of things, tons of thrifted things. That's like what most of it is. Like I got a small puffy coat there for 10 euros when I first moved here. I went to this coffee shop so many times and I'm like waiting for them to open, but maybe they are, I can't tell. I will work from here tomorrow, most definitely. Oh my god, so they actually were not open yet. I just like walked in because I saw another lady in there, but maybe she was cleaning or something. And they're not open yet, and they were so sweet. We just had a little chit chat. But Thursday, we shall go. Take your pick on a piece. Most of it's white meat. First Thanksgiving. Oh, that's steamy.
That's a good plate. You did
It's
well.
a beautiful plate.
You did well.
Thank you, Shayna.
Thank you. I want a little.
Oh.
A little. So this big? No.
Ayuntament. 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 But with J.
I was almost out the door, but then I had the urge to speak about this as I was like finishing covering stuff on my face. But I just want to talk about, I guess, perspective and, you know, feeling like you have it all figured out in this world. Because for me, this was the first year that I really felt homesick around Thanksgiving. And it's not that I'm not always missing my family and missing my friends and all of those things. But I mean, out of the past 10 years, I think I've only been at home really for Thanksgiving once those past 10 years, I feel like. Other than that, I've been so lucky to be with friends that I love at the time. And I spent Thanksgiving this year with a friend who I've spent maybe like 5 Thanksgivings with together in New York. And it was the best time ever. And I was with like a small group of girls who I love. And we had like just a lovely, lovely dinner with good music, good chat, all of these things. And it like let me switch off for a moment and forget how homesick I was, because this week it was constantly in the back of my mind of feeling like I was homesick and missing something. And I don't think I've ever explored those emotions together of wanting to explore and being in a new place, but also missing your family and friends and familiarity. And I just hadn't felt those two emotions kind of coincide and coexist, but also go head to head at the same time. And even yesterday, I was like making a silly little Instagram post about this. And as I was editing something, I just broke down on my couch, sobbing, crying, and missing my family so much. And then I texted my sister, and later on she called me with her kids. And Sedona, my little niece, when my sister mentioned that we were having dinner, I was having dinner with the girls, and she goes, "But not me," and she got so sad. And then that made me almost cry in a coffee shop. And then April was like, no, like she'll be back. And then she like perked up, and then I perked up, and I was like, oh my God, what a wave of emotions that I'm having with this little niece who's so far away. And I think that's part of it too, is just having especially nieces and nephews who are just growing up and so much fun and just great to be around, and they just exude emotions, whether they're insane or bad. But it's interesting having those emotions of homesickness when you're, you know, in your 30s. And which I don't know, I feel like I haven't seen enough people discuss it, and I know I've mentioned it here a few times, but yeah, it's like you want to be somewhere and you want to crave adventures and try new things, but you also miss your home, and you're also still very much trying to figure it out. So for me, I'm like, it's my home. Arizona is always going to be my home, but is also the U.S. my home. Where in the U.S. do I want to live long term? Where in the world do I want to live long term? And that's part of what my whole adventure here in Spain is exploring. Where is that place that I want to settle in, plant some roots, and really hone in on this portion area of my life moving forward? And maybe this whole age thing is something that I'm very much putting pressure on myself for, because I had never considered age whatsoever, never thought twice about it. I was like, genetics and melanin are on my side, it'll be okay. No, I'd never thought about it at all until, honestly, I moved to Australia. And the reason why I started thinking about it more so when I was there is because you kind of have to, depending on the visa that you're on. So if you're on a working holiday visa and you're from the US, you have to be under 31. So you have to think about your age. And I knew that I wasn't going to be able to renew my visa because of my age. So I was already thinking about it all the time. And then I have another friend over there who's in the same predicament. So it forces you to kind of face that biological reality, because without like putting the whole like biological parameters on it, if you want to have children and all these things, it's just a number. And that's something that like I used to always tell myself, and now I'm thinking more about it. And it's almost kind of, I wish I could speak to myself as a 45-year-old Heather speaking to a 30-something Heather, Because I know if I was speaking to a 25-year-old, when you're 25, you think, oh my God, I have to have it all figured out. What's going on? I have to have blah, 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 blah figured out. And now if I meet a 25-year-old, I'm like, oh, you should go fuck up. Go do something crazy. Go do something absolutely wild. Go do something that scares you. Go make the wrong decision or make the right decision. You know, just do something insane, because in 10 years, you're going to look back on it and think, oh, I should have just been crazier or tried new things. I was writing recently this week, like all these things that I kind of like wish I was doing now, or wish I had done all these things. And one of those was even like, oh, I wish I tried more drugs when I was younger. And not that I still can't try more now, but it's like, oh, I wish I had tried more when I was younger and maybe cared a little bit less. But maybe I care less now. I don't even know. These are all emotions that I'm exploring. Whew. Standing on a trash can. Oh my God, remember that song Banging on Trash Cans in Doug? Essentially, that was my rant. My rant was about perspective of those feelings of homesickness, but also exploration and loving where you're at. And then also the perspective of, you know, how you look at your age at certain levels of your life. Yeah. Now I'm all tongue-tied about it. But actually, I am tongue-tied. That's something I can talk about another time. But yeah, actually quite literally tongue-tied. It was cut. Well, it was laser singed 3 times by my dentist, who know and love, has been my dentist for basically my whole life. But you have to be really diligent with doing tongue exercises after you get it lasered. And the last time I did it was, I kid you not, I think he lasered, I went in for a cleaning, like right before I was going to Australia. So I went in like maybe a week before I was leaving, and he lasered it. And then, but it takes like, you have to do kind of a month of tongue exercises. And I remember like being really diligent that first week, even though it was like, it really hurt. And then I remember getting on the plane for Australia. I just remember being on the plane and being like, I feel like I've rescinded. I have not been doing the exercises. So every once in a while, I'll try to remind myself to do the exercises. But I'm like, am I technically tongue-tied anymore, or am I not tongue-tied? I guess when I go back to the dentist, I can ask him to reassess. But at this point, I don't even think I can get it cut anymore. I think it's like, because it can grow back tighter. Oh, y'all. Tongue tie removal stuff. I don't know. That's a whole other thing. People are like, oh, do we do it when they're babies? Do you do it when you're older? I don't know. Just don't be tongue tied. Not that you can help it. Final product, my favorite breakfast to have. I continue to somehow, just the combination of my decaf coffee, I don't drink caffeine really, and the almond milk, it's like I make the perfect latte at home every time. So I'm very happy with my little Nespresso pod maker. When I say mine, I mean like it was already here ahead of time. But I want to, so back home in Arizona, my family has the reusable pods. So you just like fill each individual pod up with coffee. So it's not so wasteful. I don't like having to use the pods that you toss in the trash. It's just not preferred for obvious reasons. So I think that's on the order of business, is to buy a reusable pod that I can continue to use here. being here, and for people who understand or are trying to understand or trying to get to a place of moving, especially moving in your adult years. For me, I was so fortunate, and it was such a luxury to grow up in the same place my whole life. I mean, for some people they wouldn't like that, but for me, I grew up in the same house until I was about 17, and then we moved to a house literally down the road, and then I was off to college, and everyone was still in Arizona. So I come from a family of, I have 20 first cousins, just first cousins alone, and every single one of them, up until 2 years ago, every single one of them lives in Arizona. 2 years ago, a cousin of mine moved to Texas for law school, so excited for her. And so that's something that's interesting for my family to understand and come to terms. Like, I think they've come to terms with it now, which feels so silly to say, you know, being in your 30s, but at the end of the day, your parents are still your parents and your family, and they just want to understand your decisions and what a gift that is that they are carrying, and sometimes concerned, maybe too concerned, and trying to understand your reasoning behind your process and your lifestyle that might be a little bit off the cuff or different from theirs, or different from what they expected, what they see their friends doing, their family doing, what you see in pop culture. So it's something that I've stayed pretty steadfast in wanting to move where I want to move, making it happen, whether that's moving to New York with no job when you're 21, or moving to Atlanta post-COVID, or to Australia with not really a full-time job, and then for me on to Spain next. So that's obviously my personal moves, but everybody's going to be different, and everybody's going to have their own reasons for why they're moving, and I understand that it can be hard to explain that to friends and family who may not agree but want to understand. So I totally get you there, and it's fun, it's liberating, it's scary, and it's challenging, it's sometimes not rewarding, sometimes it is rewarding. Like, you can't sugarcoat it and say that it's always going to be great, because anybody who says it is lying. It's hard to be away from family and friends in pursuit of other adventures, or seeking, you know, understanding different cultures and different people and different communities. But I feel like as long as you have your strong reasons for why you're going somewhere, it makes that just a little bit easier. I think for me, when I was moving to Australia, I was very conflicted in my mind about why I was going there and my whole purpose. I had come out of a weird relationship with somebody who did live in Australia, and that was the original intention. We broke up months before I moved there, but I had already dead set my mind on moving there. And when we were together, I had told him, like, hey, if I move to Australia, I have to make this move for myself, not for us, because at the end of the day, maybe this is me being pessimistic. I told him, I said, at the end of the day, you and I might not be together, and that's just a fact of life, which, you know, made him sad and distraught, but it was a fact of the matter. And then lo and behold, we didn't end up together. So I was like, thank God I had already planned on this move by myself, for myself, without a partner. And it just made it that much smoother. Obviously still difficult, but you know, you live and you learn. And it was a really great experience, and I'm glad that I went for myself. Is that selfish? this portion, the room is like, all the key doesn't work. And I was like, I'm gonna figure it out. So I spent 20 minutes MacGyvering the heck out of the door, and I got it open. And then I thought, I journaled about it. I was like, this is a metaphor, like something that someone told me I wouldn't be able to do, something so small, you know, like opening up a door, literally a door. And then, you know, I just like spent some focus on it, and I worked at it, and I got it open, and I was like, oh, what does this tell me about things that I'm working on in life? I don't know. That's my